Hey.
Hey.
How's that 24-hour going?
I just,
2 hours and 43 minutes left.
I just popped in there to check it out, and one of the lead LMP cars or DPI cars just took a
tire
shit.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Saw that. Dude, I hate this fucking seat.
You hate your seat? I hate my seat.
I know. Can't be that we're fat.
No, it's not that we're fat. They're just crap seats.
You know, I was worried about the track racer, the TR160. Well, I wasn't worried about it, but I was wondering how it was going to hold up in that Daytona 24, and that thing was comfortable.
Oh, good. Yeah, they look nice. I like them.
Yeah,
Mike's. Mike is friends with Richard from Sim Labs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. Alrighty, how much time we got left? 2 minutes? 2 minutes.
Audio's good?
I think so. You guys all sound good. Levels are all good.
Start screen's coming up. Are we live?
We are live now. We are live.
All right. Well, another Sunday morning, everybody. Good morning. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sim Racing Guys. And today we have a very special honored guest. We have Darin Gangi from the very well-known channel Inside Sim Racing. And wow, glad to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we've been chatting over the last week. I connected with Darin on. He did a really good job of getting hold of a clutch for me with my Huskenfeld Pros, and I was trying to order it, and it was coming from Europe, and I think it was going to cost me about $220. And Darin has a company, Sim Motion.
Yep.
And he was able to hook me up with a pedal within about 5 or 6 days, and it only cost me $150 shipped. So you saved me a bit of money there, Darin, and I appreciate that.
My pleasure. I appreciate the business.
I'm just gonna put a
And
link to his website in the chat. Boom.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
So what's really cool here, I mean, just the cool part of this is starting in sim racing years and years and years back when YouTube came on and became like a forum for people putting their own videos up. You guys were the first ones really to jump on the sim racing niche and start talking about the thing that we all love to do.
Yeah, we kind of pioneered that I mean, not to toot our own horns, but man, that was 2007 was that first video that we did. So what? That's man, 14 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was absolutely my go-to place on YouTube because we're like all closet racers. You know what I mean? We all
Yep.
have our normal day-to-day lives and we all have our jobs that we do. But for those of us that are dedicated to this thing, and maybe it's the adrenaline, maybe it's the amount of concentration it takes to do it, maybe it's the escape from the real world, but somehow there's a huge community now. Back then, it may have been a little bit smaller. I remember having to buy my software from Fry's, going to Fry's over there in the valley and in Burbank.
I miss fries.
Oh,
We don't have those up here.
no,
Place
they're
is
not really out
dangerous.
here anymore.
No kidding?
Yeah, they're pretty much out of business.
Oh wow.
They're just property holders now, and they keep some inventory, but it's not like it used to be. You'll go down aisles and you'll see one product for the whole aisle. That kind of thing.
Oh man, that place was dangerous.
Yeah,
I would end up blowing so much money at that place. That's
dude,
a bummer.
that was like my wife at like Nordstrom's. Okay, like she can go in there and get lost for 3 hours and she can try on like 15 different things and look at the same shirt next to each other on the thing and see that there's a difference somewhere. I mean, that's me and Fries, like go at it alone. You can't bring a friend. You can't bring uh you know your
Your
other half
wife.
with you. Yeah, they just don't understand.
Well, the wife's gonna feel like you do when you go to Nordstrom shopping with her. You're like, damn it, can we get out of here already? How many
Oh
times
my
you got to look at
god.
that same shirt or that same
Oh my
blouse? Or
god. We're going down this aisle again. Oh
yep,
my god.
that's how it was. Yeah,
Mike,
with
do you guys have you guys don't have Fries up in Canada?
No, we got Best Buy, and then all the other computer stores, other than
Nothing
place.
comparative. Nothing.
No, other than something close, would probably be the store I shop at, Memory Express.
Yeah, I saw a
So
picture of that place. That would be the size of the bathroom at Fry's.
we don't have anything like that up
Let me
here.
describe Fry's in Burbank, California. Okay, it is. They have a flying saucer stuck in the front of the store, and it's as big as like. I mean, how big is that thing, Darin? It's got to be like 100 feet diameter.
Huge. Yeah, it was
Huge.
like half the bill. It's been a while. So I used to go to both. There was the one in Woodland Hills
Oh yeah, that one too.
and the one in Burbank, and I
The
was
Woodland
kind of
Hills one is Alice in Wonderland.
yes, exactly.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
they all had
each one
different
has a
themes.
theme. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and the one in Burbank is an invasion of aliens, and it's like movie props all over the whole place. So it's a cool place to go check out. I mean, for guys, it was it was awesome. Christmas was a nightmare in there.
Yes, that's for sure. Loved that place though. I miss it.
Yeah. It's sad to see it going the way it is, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, we were I've like I said been a fan of Inside Sim Racing for forever, and I learned a lot from that show. The different products that were coming out. You guys just kind of had that inside scoop, and you were the first to really establish that product review, which was always very good because sometimes you and Sean wouldn't even agree on stuff, and that was good, like because you had different opinions on how maybe something was built or if it was comfortable, if it gave you what you were looking for.
Yeah, and what was cool, especially when we do rig reviews, I'm 6'4" and he's about 5'5", so we'd get the viewpoint from the tall guy or the shorter guy. So yeah, most of the time we agreed on things, but yeah, it was a lot of fun having the different. And then even when I did it with John Sable too, we'd have different viewpoints and
Sure.
um,
He's very articulate. Yeah.
yes, originally we didn't set out to do reviews. That wasn't when we first started. Sim Racing Tonight was the original name.
Oh.
Yeah.
We weren't really.
It was
Go
funny
ahead.
'cause
What was
I was looking back at the old YouTube videos. I'm like, oh shit, I remember when that one aired. Oh crap,
that?
that was one of the ones I watched.
Look at Darin's hair color too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
now he's a great fox.
I was just watching. I'll get stuck watching old shows. Man, honestly, I don't even remember, and I'm getting old, so that's probably a big reason why. But there's shows I'll go back and watch and be like, shit, I don't even remember doing that. I don't remember that video. But yeah, it's a trip going back and watching. But yeah, we didn't really think about reviews as much. It was more we did the show. Well, Sean and I originally were doing broadcasts of races with
Like live broadcast.
with like guys like Gregor Hutu and bunch of the Team Redline guys, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And we both just started brainstorming. We lived semi close to each other, so we had gotten together for some like early days of endurance racing. And I met him. He ran in a league that I had, and funny thing is, we met and we were friends for about a year or two, and we didn't realize we shared the same birthday, same exact day.
Oh, that's cool. I have a friend like that too.
But yeah, one day we were just brainstorming. I'll never forget it. I was living in Simi Valley, and I was in my garage, and we were just like, what could we do? Like, what could we do with this? And we originally were thinking, man, what if we did like a 24/7 channel that just showed racing, just showed sim racing? And then we're like, people aren't going to give a shit about that. And then we just kind of brainstormed the idea. I don't even remember which one of us came up with it. It was kind of just both of us just brainstorming the idea for Sim Racing Tonight. And that first episode, that first show was like almost an hour long. And we did the history of sim racing. Part 1 was a segment.
That's always good. That's always a good subject to cover because a lot of people who are in sim racing now, they don't realize, how far back this goes and how rudimentary it was when it first came out.
Yep.
And how much, and not to really cut in, but the amount of imagination you had to have to go along with it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's not perfect, but in your mind you made it.
Yeah, well, even when we started the show, I wasn't even running force feedback at the time. So I was
what
running
wheel was that?
A TSW, Thomas Super Wheel. You guys remember those?
Yeah.
I see. I'm totally dating myself. You know what? They still exist too. Thomas-superwheel.com. They mainly, I think they still make wheels. They never transition to force feedback, so that's why they kind of
went to the wayside.
Yeah, but they made a really beefy shifter, gate shifter. It's probably one of the best gate shifters on the market, next to that Quaif, whatever the Pro Sim, that $1,800.
That's a nice. I've tried. I was lucky enough to try that shifter at the Sim Racing Expo a few years ago. It's nice. It is really nice.
That thing looks badass.
But can you justify spending $1,800 on a shifter that you probably will use once or 2-3 times a month? Yeah, I couldn't do it.
That must be why it doesn't show up in my feed at all.
I rarely use a gate shifter.
Yeah,
it's fun. I use a gate shifter in my real car, but sim racing, it's just not as fast, and especially on iRacing, they won't even allow you to use it on most cars.
No.
So, but anyway, yeah, Thomas Super Wheel was my first wheel. So, yeah, like you were saying, Mike, that you had to really use your imagination, because there was just really
My
no tactile feedback.
my first wheel was a Thrustmaster. Basically it had paddle shifters, but they weren't shifters. It was throttle and brake,
Oh
and
wow!
it had a bungee that was inside that would give you a center spring.
Yep.
And it would just mount to the desk, and it had a sequential shifter mounted on the right side.
Yep.
Okay, but yeah, we were running Papyrus IndyCar Racing and uh, uh, Jeff Crammon.
World
Uh,
Circuit Grand Prix.
no, was it
Oh
Grand
no.
Prix 2?
Yeah.
Who did Grand Prix 2? Was it
Yeah,
Crammon?
Jeff Crammon. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Grand Prix 2. We had a friend. I worked at the time at a clone. We used to build IBM clone 486, 386 computers, and we had this one like genius guy that worked with us, and we told him, hey, we want to race head to head. So we put on, we had a serial network card in the machine, and we were able to we made the serial, I don't know if we made the serial cable for it, or if we just talked to the modem inside to get it to talk to each other. But basically we were able to race head to head. And that was probably in 96-ish.
Okay. So I was doing something like that in about 93, 94 ish.
Yeah,
So
maybe it was around then.
my first wheel was a Thrustmaster T1.
That may have been
And
the same one.
well, it's exactly how you described, except the pedals had these little like wheels on them. So
Oh, yeah, no, mine didn't have foot pedals. Mine just had the paddles up
paddles.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine had the foot pedals, but it had the bungee. It was a bungee wheel. And that
Yeah.
bungee would stretch
Oh
after a
yeah.
while.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't
Um,
yeah, no, I mean that dead zone. It was
oh, it's
yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I ended up winning that TSW. You guys remember CompuServe?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I was on CompuServe and was in couple offline leagues. An IndyCar, one that ran the Papyrus IndyCar, and then another one that ran the NASCAR. NASCAR won.
Mhm.
And all I had to do was enter this event and the NASCAR one deal, and didn't matter where you placed. You'd run offline against like a set AI
Uh-huh.
and then submit your results. And all I had to do was submit my results, and I think they had like 2 or 3 winners out of, I don't know, maybe 100 guys. And I remember getting an email from them saying, "Oh, you won." I was like, "Holy shit.
And it came across
Cool."
like, "You've got mail."
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I won that wheel, and then I ended up upgrading it a little later, but that was the wheel. I ended up having a TSW when Inside Sim Racing started, and then reached out to Logitech, and they sent me a
Momo.
G25.
Oh,
No, a
G25.
G25. Sean had Momos. He so that was I was kind of against force feedback, like, at first, because everybody had always said in the community, "Oh, it's canned, it's not realistic, and you're better off
Oh, how
without
the
it." Like,
times have changed.
oh man. Um man, man, you're thinking about that too.
I kind of lost interest in the sim race. I think when I got EA Sports F1, it was the first F1 that EA Sports did.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was which one it was exactly, but it was so frustrating that I just kind of gave up on it. And then I was out of sim racing for probably a good 2 or 3 years. And then I started reading about, I think it was what was the other sports car sim racing one? GT.
SCGT?
No,
Sports Car GT?
GTR2. GTR2.
Okay, so that's a little later than that's like early 2000s.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is when I'm coming back into it, right?
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
I started hearing good things about force feedback. I started like picking up little articles here and there, and then I was like, huh, maybe I'll try it out again. And so I got a hold of a Momo, Logitech Momo, and I bought GTR2, and I remember the first time I got out on track in the I think it was in the Viper, and I got out on track and I went, whoa, what is this?
My world has changed.
This is it.
So
Oh my
I
God.
never
12-step program needed immediately.
Sim racing's been a hobby for me ever since I got into it. I never really left it.
Right.
And so I went from CompuServe. I found out about Papyrus doing the online racing, the dial up. We dialed up into Papyrus in Watertown, Massachusetts, and it was called Hawaii. Was like the code name. So it was like beta testing for online racing. And man, that cost a friggin' fortune because we were paying per minute.
Yeah.
I remember like searching for the best
Long distance carrier.
I think I ended up getting down to like 5 cents a minute, and I had to really limit okay, I'm only going to league race on this night for 2 hours, as I was on a tight budget. Young dad, and
Did you buy an ISDN line?
Eventually, much later. Yeah, but before I was able to get cable or DSL in the area I lived in, I had to get ISDN. That was expensive. But anyway, yeah,
I worked at Pac Bell during that time.
Oh, no kidding.
I was an ISDN specialist for Pac Bell.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't really taken many breaks from this community and hobby. It turned into a business and job for me. I don't sim race as much as I used to, but yeah, I've been doing it since the beginning, since those Hawaii days, and then it transitioned to. Do you guys remember the 10 network?
Yep.
That network, I don't.
Total Entertainment Network. So it was almost like Steam.
Yeah. Okay. No, I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that. It was kind of them and Origin, or is it not Origin? Who is the other Steam-like provider out
Oh,
there?
what was it? Because when they closed, all your stuff transferred over to Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Oh, what was it
But
called? That's gonna
10
bug me
only.
because
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Michael, figure it out.
10 only had there was like 10 games you could play, or not even maybe not even that much. But one of them was NASCAR 2. Yeah, it was NASCAR 2 from Papyrus. And I remember we waited years for that to finally launch. And it was like about 1995. And then
Papyrus was so good.
Well, and they came, and then on 10 there was a series called NROS, NASCAR Racing Online Series, and very similar to how iRacing works now with the iRating. You basically, the more you raced, you developed a rating.
Racing though, if you think about it, because it's all those guys that.
Yep.
It's all those same Papyrus guys, right?
Most of them, yeah. And there was a big series that culminated in, I think the guy won, I want to say 10 grand. And like the top 8 guys got to all go to some mall somewhere. And if you look it up, yeah, we did a piece on it too early on and found some video from that race. But there was like the top 8 guys. Man, I almost remember the guy's name that won it. It's like on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I so wanted to make that top 8, but I made it. So they had like 3 divisions, I think it was. And I just missed being in the top division. And I think I ended up in the middle division.
All on a LAN right there, happening right there.
The finals, with the top 8 or 10 guys, it was all on a LAN.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was like, and then 10 went belly up, or they got taken over by Pogo, it was called.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, Pogo ended up being like just a weird
card games and shit.
Yeah. Like browser type games.
Yes, exactly. And
I remember that.
And then that was the end of the NASCAR stuff through there. And then it just kind of went private. Everybody had to have private servers. So like
the first multiplayer like online stuff I did was R Factor.
Okay.
And that was how I met most of the guys that race in our league now. A good chunk of them I've known for, probably 15 years now, and never met a single one in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were, there was a league on there. I saw it was an open server. Like I didn't have to put a password in or anything to get in, and I just jumped in and I raced with them. And then they were like, "Hey, why don't you, we meet up every, almost every night." And I was by myself at the time and living in a little apartment, and yeah, that's how a lot of this relationship stuff kind of this community building kind of spurred on from that, because all of a sudden you find yourself amongst other like-minded and competitive individuals, and yeah, it's to me it's like the best form of home entertainment. It gives you every aspect of everything you would ever want. You get adrenaline,
We've
you get,
made the amount of friends we've made doing it as well.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like I've been
great
running
friend.
leagues for almost 7 years now, 6, 7 years. But a lot of friends, like when I was living in UK, I got friends I still talk to every day. You know,
Well, that's how I met Sean Cole. Was I had a league that I'd started on Hawaii. So that original online racing series or system through Papyrus, league was called SSCA, Simulated Stock Car Association, and Sean was in it. I don't think Sean was in it then. I think he had joined by the time we had transitioned after 10, and we transitioned to like NASCAR 3, 4, and then there was 2002 and 2003. So we had met in that era, but he was in the league, and then we became friends. Didn't even realize we lived,
It's
30
really
miles from each
weird.
other.
It's really weird when you meet somebody local that does the same thing, because it's kind of like, oh my
Whoa,
god,
you sim race?
yeah. I've
Wow.
it's only happened a couple of times. But uh I have a good friend of mine, and he lives out in Burbank, and uh he's posted one day right after the whole COVID thing started, when NASCAR first aired their first simulated race. He went out and bought himself a Logitech, like a G29 or something like that, and he posted it on his wall, and I went, "Hey man, like talk to me, dude. I'll
sim
help you
racing
make less.
friends.
I'll help you make less mistakes, but it'll cost you." And yeah, so you kind of pay it forward, but it's just always cool uh to meet somebody that's into the same kind of stuff.
Yep. I got a local friend here in Spokane. My girlfriend and I hang out with this couple. She was friends with the wife, and then we all started playing golf together, and now I've become really good friends. They're from Southern California, the like Riverside, Palm Springs, Palm Desert area.
Oh yeah.
And he used to race motocross and stuff and was into racing, and then I'd been telling him about my simulator. And he's like, "Oh man, I really want to come over and check that out." And man, he is hooked now. He loves it. Matter of fact, he came over. They came over. The couple came over Friday night, and they came over early, dropped him off, and then the two ladies went off and did their thing. And he had watched some of the Daytona 24 that I raced in last weekend. He's like, "Hey, I want to try that track now. I really want to get," because he had done
He
some
got to see it
NASCAR.
on TV. He got to, he knows the track. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, and so Friday night, man, he sat here for 2 hours just running laps by himself at Daytona in the Corvette, and then I just sat here and coached him, like, "Okay, brake here, get on the brakes harder. No, too much. You're locking up." So anyway, he ended up like starting at about a 152, 153 lap time, and mine I was running in the anywhere from 41s to 43s during the race, depending on weather, the
Mhm.
temp. And he got down to 45 was his best
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
time he was finished. But
Yeah,
man,
you
he
give
is
you give
hooked.
him enough time. Even my wife, I put her on her. Now, she's the longest she's ever spent on on my rig is probably about 10 minutes. Okay, but
My
there
wife's
was
never
one
sat in my rig.
time, huh?
My
Your
wife has
wife has
never never sat in my rig.
No kidding.
She
got
looks
on
at it and she's just like,
Big
yeah,
kid.
no.
she got on it and she actually, I don't know, she was kind of in the mood to try it, and she got on there and she probably did 10 laps, and she was like getting better and better, and she was like, come on man, I'm gonna get it, Mike, and then a long time gapped, and then I got VR, and I said, babe, you gotta try this out, right? So I put her in Project Cars 2 in a convertible Ferrari on Pacific Coast Highway. And I just said, drive it like you're just driving your car, okay? Just treat the road like it's the road outside our house, like the brake is the brake, everything's the same, just. She put on that thing, she goes, oh my God, and she starts driving around. And about 30 seconds later, she goes, get this fucking thing off of me, Mike.
I'm gonna puke.
I'm gonna puke. And she just whips this thing off, like almost throws it in the air. And that was it. No more.
I have like I ride motorbikes, as you can see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I have some of the most manliest dudes who show up at my house, and they're like, "What is this thing?" Like, that's my simulator. Can I try? I'm like, you'll throw up. Oh, no, I won't throw up. I don't get car sick. And some of the biggest dudes you've ever met have literally lasted 5 seconds
Yeah.
In VR or
in
with
VR.
monitors? Yeah.
VR.
Yeah. What? So I've never had a problem with VR. Sim racing. Now I grew up in Southern California, Mike, as you know, and I grew up right next to Magic Mountain,
Mhm.
and so I could
Off the
ride any.
14.
Yep. And I could ride any roller coaster on the planet. No problem. Never
Me
got
too.
sick on a roller coaster in my life. Didn't
On a
matter
boat.
how fast. I tried VR roller coaster. What the hell is that game called?
Oh, I know which one it is. I know because that's my neighbors. When they see it, I put them in that to try it out.
Oh my god, man! I could barely do one full roller coaster ride without like almost puking.
Wow.
But sim racing never had a problem with VR.
Yeah,
I think
I've
I think the roller I think the
shit
roller
killed me.
coaster, the roller coaster one, you need to have motion.
I did.
Oh,
I
really?
had my
oh, you
yeah.
had your
I had my yeah, and
you ever go
I
to a
was
carnival and you see those globes that they put you in and they spin it and it's like a gyroscope.
yeah.
So I used to be able to go into those things and they would just go to town on me, and I would just walk out of there a little dizzy, but never got sick from it or anything. And I've flown airplanes, I've done all kinds of stuff, uh, roller coasters like crazy. VR, first 30 seconds, whoa, wait a second. I had to take it off. I had to like get adjusted to it a little bit. And I would say probably within an hour, I was totally fine. Totally fine. Matter of
See,
fact, it's
I
so.
was an early adapter.
I was
I had
flying a flight sim on oh, which one is it? IL-2,
Oh,
I
okay.
think. Yeah, and it's like a World War II flight simulator. And holy crap, it was amazing. Okay, and we're out there. Me and a bunch of friends are on a server, and we're dogfighting each other. And I'm in. The, I'm. lo- I don't realize this. I've got my goggles on. I'm checking over my shoulder every 2 seconds, and when we were all done, my wife's just sitting there shaking her head like, "You disgust me." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Look at you." And she shows me a video, and I'm like,
Oh, that's great.
it made it to a couple chat groups that my wife's in, with some friends, and oh, look at Mike, look at what it. And you don't realize how goofy you look, so it becomes kind of a personal experience sometimes. Um,
I could
but
see that.
yeah, my wife, Mike Tanti knows how my wife is with me. She doesn't pull any
she's no holds
punches.
barred. No holds
Yeah.
barred.
Nice.
All right, Darren.
Gotta
So now,
keeps you in check.
now the real hard questions here.
Okay.
Ooh,
We've gone down memory lane.
it's fun though. I enjoy talking about stuff like that.
It is
So
fun.
Darren, let me just say this: Inside Sim Racing, the work that you guys did. Thank you very much for doing all that stuff. Because
Oh, my pleasure.
there's a reason why
And
you have as
that's
many
one of the reasons.
followers.
That's one of the reasons me and Mike have our show now, because once Inside Sim Racing kind of dissolved, and we'll talk about you bringing it back shortly. Um, we felt it was missing in the market. No one's doing it anymore.
Yep.
You know, no one just to talk sim racing. And yeah, we touch on sim racing, we touch on new mods and new this and new that, but it's just a couple fat dudes sitting in our garage in our bedroom chatting sim racing. You know,
That's
Yeah,
pretty
and
much how we
sometimes
started it. Yeah.
yeah.
we get on a track, and that's always fun.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. But and that's one of the reasons we started it. We felt that since ISR had left and there was no one doing it. Sure, you got Jimmy Broadbent and you got William Marsh and you have David Cole, but they're all pretty much the same thing. It's the same show, different skin,
Yep.
right? No one just sits there and talks sim racing and has a good laugh and make fun of each other and and me and Mike, we talk probably what, 4 or 5 times a week, dude.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
More
I,
more
I, I
than more than more than we should really.
yeah, I talk to you more than I talk to my wife.
Don't say that, Mike. That's terrible. That's terrible. My wife goes, "Oh, your boyfriend's calling."
so I think the big story from everyone wants to know, what happened to ISR TV or Inside Sim Racing TV, and then where did you go from there and what you're doing now?
So, um, after Sean left Spokane and basically started his deal, um, I was solo and did my own thing and brought in guy Jason Dunnington for a little bit. That didn't work out, and um, then brought in John Sable. John was a blogger for the website, and brought him on board. And so, going all the way back, I've never really enjoyed being on camera, to be honest. I'll do it and I've gotten used to doing it, but I like working behind the scenes more. So if you go back and watch most of the shows, especially early on when we had Tom Hackey and Jessica and Sean, I tried
Kind
not
of
to be
wanted to
on.
be a producer, kind
Yes,
of a.
I wrote most of the,
Here,
like, every.
Sean, come to my casting couch.
Yeah, pretty much pretty Jessica pretty much every just about every show Jessica was on, I wrote. Um So I liked the writing and the producing and directing and all that stuff. Sean did most of the editing early on. So anyway, gonna get too long here, but bottom line was I got burnt out. And so when John came on board, I was kind of hoping to pass the torch. And then about the same time I acquired a partner in the business. He basically paid in for 50% of Inside Sim Racing. And guy in Europe who's involved with Playseat, a guy named Raphael, and it just wasn't working out the way I had hoped, the partnership. And then I had an opportunity to go work for Sim Experience. Met them at the oh no, we actually Sean and I went and met Bernie from Sim Experience. We did a piece on the AccuForce before it was
Remember
released.
that?
Yeah.
And met him then, and then met him again at the hell was it called? iRace for Life in Texas. And then got to talking to him, and anyway, long story short, there went to work for them, and about at that time, I really needed to start backing off because I didn't want there to be any conflict of interest, and
Sure.
offered to sell the company to my partner, and he took me up on the offer. So I basically sold everything: the YouTube channel, the website, the whole 9 yards. And John was still continuing to work for him for a while, and pretty much John was running everything.
Mhm.
John was doing everything for the channel, and just decided
He was the
John
heartbeat. He was all that was left keeping that thing alive.
he was, and I was helping a little bit behind the scenes, but John had moved here to Spokane. He originally was from Ohio, moved here to Spokane, lived here for about almost a year, and so I kind of mentored him and showed him the ropes, showed him how to edit and film and all that stuff. John, by trade, was an aerospace engineer.
He seems the type.
John's a really smart guy.
He is. You can
John's
tell, right?
John is a great guy. I still talk to John. And we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun doing the show together. And so anyway, he got married, was going to start a family, and just decided I need something more stable. Went back to aerospace, ended inside sim racing, and then it sat dormant. His last show was either January or February of 2018, and
right. Yeah, it stopped popping up in my feed, and I just realized, yeah, maybe it's
well, and so and it sounded like I was a little down on my original partner. I think the problem with him was, and I don't even want to say it's a problem, he had irons in a lot of different fires.
Sure.
So he was a play seat distributor and then had like 3 or 4 other businesses and just never had the time to devote to inside sim racing, and was able to utilize it for some advertising to point people towards his site. Matter of fact, if you go to the ISR TV site,
I
actually, I'm
think
gonna
it's
do it
still,
right
yeah.
now. You'll still see ads that'll point to, and I think he sold out of that. Yeah, Playseat Evolution. If you go there, it goes to bracer.com. It's got a 404 error. He sold his stake in Playseat back to the owner of Playseat. He was a big player in Playseat originally. I just think he just didn't have the time for it. And when John left, there was really nobody left for inside sim racing. So COVID hit, sim experience laid me off, and my good friend who I had met while I was working at Sim Experience, a guy named Jens Perkot, in Germany. He's based in Germany. I've met him once in person here. We met at a matter of fact, Mike Tanti, you and I have talked about going to a Mariners game.
Yeah.
I met Jens at a Mariners game one time. We coordinated and went to a game there. But anyway, he's probably one of my best friends. And after this, even when I was working for Sim Experience, he's like, man, why don't you come work for me? He'd started Sim Motion and another company called Sim Department, which is basically Sim Department has a piece of software that allows you to take Assetto Corsa and run it in like a Sim Center type environment. And some of the Porsche Experience Centers use it, and he's got deals with KTM and Porsche and one other. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But so when I got laid off, he's like, "Hey, why don't you come to work? Let's do Sim Motion here in the States." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's talk about it." So anyway, we figured out how we were going to make it work, and then I thought, well, hey, maybe I could do some videos on Inside Sim Racing again to kind of help promote the new store and bring back Inside Sim Racing, because I mean that was my baby, mine and Sean's baby, that was just left to die.
yeah,
And
yeah. It's like
um,
left on a doorstep.
yeah, it was with nobody picking it up. Um, and man, you go to the forums, and I go to the back end of the forums for Inside Sim Racing. It's a friggin' mess. Hasn't been updated in forever,
I'm
and
sure.
I got
I
porn
still go to
sites.
I still go to the forums just for the buy and sell.
Okay, yeah, that's still active there.
That's probably the
Um,
most active part of the page is the buy and sell.
yep, it is. But man, on the back end, we moderated any new users. Man, anytime I log in, there's like 1,500 posts from Russian porn sites
Yeah, sure, right.
trying to post in the forums. So yeah, so that's how I rebooted it. I asked
Yeah.
the owner, the guy that bought it from me, hey, can I start making some videos on it? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. So he'll make some money like through Google ads.
Sure.
And so yeah, and then I'm making videos
Like,
again.
Darren, I can appreciate the fact that you can get burned out on stuff, and Mike and I have our format on the show is incredibly loose. Like, we don't want anybody demanding anything from us except for the fact that, hey, we like to share a little bit of our time on a weekend to just talk stuff, and there's been weekends where we both talk to each other and we're like, yeah, not today, just don't feel like it. Luckily we only have 3 viewers, right? So
We got more than 3 viewers. What are you
I'm
looking
kidding.
at? I'm
I'm
looking at it
kidding.
live right now. We got more than
I'm
3.
I posted it in a couple places. Well, I sent it to my girlfriend, so she may be one of the viewers. And I posted it
We
in the
got
Inside
12 viewers
Racing
right now.
Disc. Okay.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you everybody for joining with us.
We peaked at 30, and then Cammy started talking, and it dropped.
Darren just
12
boosted
viewers?
us.
What the hell? I'm out of here.
No, that's the thing. Like, we wanted something that was like Inside Sim Racing, a little looser, a little bit more fun.
No format. Screw
No
it. Just let's
format.
talk. And we go in so many directions, and
We go into tangents and stories.
Mike's a very technical guy, and there's times where he's like created a checklist of stuff that he'll have like 8 items. Okay, we got to cover this, we got to cover that. We get about to item number 2, and we're at 48 minutes into the broadcast, and we've taken every other road around the subject that we were supposed to talk about. But it's just fun. And then we were hoping to get our vision for this is just to have this kind of a community gathering of talking about what we love to do. And eventually what our vision is to have a server with a track where we all just get on the track together and we just go turn laps and laugh our asses off, because the one thing that we all have to remember about this whole thing is it's enjoyable, it's fun.
Yeah.
And when you have your friends and you're talking shit on each other and you're rubbing a fender against them, and you put the other dude in the wall, not on, well, maybe on purpose sometimes, but
Cammy.
I've
we
never
gotta
done that.
laugh and laugh.
Cammy, who won last night?
Okay, so last night we ended up on carts in our factory.
I saw you guys were running that.
Dude, it was hilarious. Okay, like it takes a little bit to get a setup on those things, right? To get your wheels set up on it, right? So, Tanty pops in. Okay, Tanty went through a nightmare with bad memory sticks in his computer. Had to drive to the store, get the everything to get that swapped out. Shows up back to his house 30 minutes before we're going to get on the track and do some Group C racing in Road America. And did you make it to? Yeah, you did.
I made first lap.
Yeah, you can't pop in with not one single lap turned on a Group C car and expect to make it through
Those
the
are
first
badass.
turn.
I love
Dude,
that era.
in our factor, those cars are fantastic. Okay, I mean, I was having a good time with it. But then all of a sudden somebody brought up carts, because me and another buddy raced some carts around the other night. We were like, wow, this is hilarious. This is fun. Tanty shows up, right? The thing you got to understand about Tanty is 2 minutes before any event that we're doing, whether it's fun or official, he has 16 errors of some sort of mechanical failure. Okay. It's like launching the old space shuttle. Okay. And
It's like I got a book like this, and I have like a starting checklist I have to go through. Yep. Avionics check,
fails.
wheel
It
check,
never fails.
pedals check.
2 minutes before grid, you'll hear, okay, what's the setup, guys? What's the setup? Give me a setup, guys. What do I do? Anyway, he gets on this go-kart. Now, it took me the other night, like probably an hour and a half of turning laps to finally get the cart to do a good lap, a good fast lap. Tanty gets on there, and we're dicking around for what, 30 40 minutes at the
Not
most.
even 20 minutes. I think I was on there.
20 minutes in, he's already posting the top time on the thing. Anyway, we ended up in a race against AI. 4 of us humans against 10 other.
No, there was 7 of us.
There were 7
There's
of us.
7 us and 7 AI.
And 7 AI, and that was hilarious, man. It was just, we were laughing our asses off, crashing into each other, spinning out, hitting. And that's the thing, like that's the fun part of this whole hobby, man. It's just that meeting of friends and having a what are those at the carnival where you have the bumper buggies? It's like,
Yeah.
that much fun. You know what I mean?
Yep. I hear you.
Nobody gets hurt.
Good wholesome
just
fun.
feelings.
Yeah,
Just
you'll have to
feelings get
jump
hurt.
on with us one night, Darren.
I definitely want to. I
It's a
definitely
good
want
time.
to.
It's funny because there's a lot of laughing, and then all of a sudden, because we're all on a Discord channel, and then all of a sudden it goes deathly quiet because all of a sudden everybody's like getting into a
Serious.
groove.
And all
Yeah,
you hear is
yeah.
click, 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 click.
Yeah. All you hear
Yeah.
is shifters.
Shifters. Yep. Hey guys, I got to step away for just a sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Oh man,
The
that
old man's
that
gotta
was
take
good.
old man's gonna take a pee.
Yeah.
All right, so
The
what do we
prostate is a
got?
terrible thing.
Prostate's a terrible thing. What's he got in the back there? Anything cool? Anything cool in
I
the
don't know.
background
I
there?
can't see. I
Let's
can't
see.
see what's going on.
He's
But I
got a
did
red
see he
ball.
did shoot us. He did shoot us a picture of something
Yeah.
he was working on. So maybe
Yeah.
we can ask him about
Yeah.
his rig when he gets back. But hey, Mike, this is kind of cool talking to Darin Gangi, Inside Sim Racing. It's
I
like
know it is.
Hall of Famer.
I thought we hit the pinnacle when we got William Marsh.
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry, Will.
they're all great guys. They're all great guys.
It's
But
funny.
maybe, you know what I mean? Like, this is a good reminder of the enjoyment of sim racing is getting together and just having a laugh and having a good time. And you got too much shit going on in your garage back there, Mike. I'm just looking at all those little boxes of, I can just imagine they're like motorcycle parts or
No.
what are they, granola bars?
You should do this. No, granola. What do you mean lots of shit going on? I got that there. What
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that there? What the hell's that?
Well, it's blurred, so it makes it a mystery a little bit.
It's the mystery garage. Oh, here he
There he
comes.
is.
Shh, quiet. Shh, quiet.
Shh,
Shh. He's here back.
Talking shit. I had to let my
Yeah.
dog in.
Yeah. My dog's
You forgot the dog outside?
Yeah,
my
well,
dog's over here on my bed, and he thinks he's looking at me like, "Why are you talking to yourself?"
yeah, it's actually a warm day here today. So he was and so warm here. Well, you can relate, Tanty. It's probably
You guys
about
are
the
close.
same. Yeah, so
It's
it's in the
pissing rain here today.
it's actually well, it's a little overcast, but it's in the 40s here, which is for this time of year is warm.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a chocolate lab, so he's got like a dual coat. He's fine.
He's fine.
Yep.
So tell
So
us
where were
about
we?
what you're doing now with your sim.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to. Okay, you sent me and Mike a photo earlier of some kind of crazy crap you got going on over there. Something that was keeping you up late last night. What are you working on, man?
So that is a
Because I thought
servo,
it was an SFX 100 kit.
and it's probably very similar,
Yeah.
or maybe even identical. So, PT Actuator, who is we're a dealer for PT actuators. They
SimMotion.
Yep, SimMotion, and they had sent me Xiao from PT Actuator sent me a 4 actuator kit of the supers. It's called the Scorpion Supers. So it's a 150 millimeter stroke actuator for like a D-box style setup. And usually the servo or the controller box usually comes all assembled. And he sent it to me in parts, basically. And so I was
You're not paying
wired.
for it.
No, actually, I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, maybe now after all the work I did to get that thing going, maybe I won't be. Um, but yeah, it's basically like for like a demo unit. So I'm going to end up setting up in this house, almost like a showroom. I'm going to be moving out of this house soon, and this is going to be Sim Motion headquarters for a while we're growing the company. So I'm going to set up like three different rigs here for people to come and test drive, and that's going to be actually I'm going to be using. I have my track racer right here. I'm going to be setting up that. I don't even know if that's 4 degrees of freedom. I just call it like a 4 DOF or a D-box style setup. So I'm going to be, with the actuator on all
On each
4
corner.
corners. Yeah.
Basically, what I have a D-box system.
Okay. So yeah, I was basically wiring up that controller, that servo box, and I'm asking Xiao for, man, can you send me a wiring diagram or some images or something? He sends me 3 pictures, and I'm like trying to decipher which wire goes where. And
God,
luckily,
that sounds so scary.
and then he says, "Oh, by the way, don't burn it up." So in other words, don't wire it wrong and catch your house on fire.
Now, when
Um,
he sent them to you, did he let you know how to wire it to 110 volt compared to the 220 they have over there?
no. I mean, I haven't plugged it in yet. I'm not gonna until I make sure everything's right.
Mike knows a lot about this stuff because
I've probably built about 3 or 4 of the
he's
SFX 100 kits.
circumnavigated the globe.
So then my partner, yeah, you guys are familiar with Barry Rowland, right? Sim
Yeah,
Racing
Yeah.
of course.
Garage.
So I kind of want to
Love
get
Barry.
Barry on the show, and the whole time he's on the show, I want to play like really soft jazz music.
Yeah, he's Mr. Radio Voice.
Yeah,
But so
he's
this
perfect.
morning,
He's got perfect fingernails too, because he always does the close-ups, and
yes, exactly.
you can tell
Nicely
he's a very
dedicated.
articulate human being. You
He
can
is,
tell he is.
except for that hair, man. He's really let that hair go. But anyway, to each his own. He does some great shit, man. He goes so super in depth.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
my partner Yen said to me last night, he's like, "Did you look at Barry's video?" I'm like, "No," and I'm thinking he didn't go that in depth for the servo setup. So basically
yeah.
4 boxes for each servo or for each actuator, 1 box for each actuator. And so then
It's a
Yen,
controller.
yeah, it's like exactly. And you gotta daisy chain them together, and then you've got anyway. So Yen sends me, I don't know, it was like part 3 of 5 of his, and it was the fucking wiring perfectly. It was like everything I needed. Barry goes super in depth, like connect this wire here and this wire there. I'm like, damn it. So I had to take a bunch of shit apart this morning, and now I've got it to where I think it's all wired up. Now what do I have to do,
We'll keep
Candy?
911 ready if you want to do it live, and we'll.
I got my fire extinguisher ready, but
Yeah.
what do I have to do to switch it from 220 to 110? Is there something I got to search?
Yeah,
Oh
so on
shit.
the so I'll send you a link. So the SFX1 kits, when everyone was building them, everyone was told, oh, you need to buy a step down box, right, for the controllers because they're 220 volt. There's an actual setting in the controller box themselves, and you have to do it to each one, and you change it to, I think you change it to 115, not
Yeah.
110, because if you do it to
Okay.
110, it'll pop and they'll just shut off. So you got to give that little extra 5 volts or whatever. I have it saved. I'll send you the link, and it takes you step by step what settings to go to on each controller box.
Okay.
So, because
Hopefully that.
when I had the SFX 100 kit, I'm just like, I don't want to spend $200 on a down step for it. There's got to be a way
And
to do it, and sure enough, there is a way to do it on the controller boxes.
so, and I'm wondering if they've already set those for 110 or 115. Because if
I would ask them first to make sure.
I will.
Um,
But Barry on his video, Barry just wires it up because basically they give you a raw, um, raw plug. Man, I had to wire up the 3-prong plug. I had to wire that shit up because
you
it
know
was just a
why they
raw.
do that? You know why they do that though?
Huh.
So years ago, me and Richard at SimLab were talking about doing a motion rig for SimLab, and to get around having to get like CA certification, like for all the different countries. You sell it as a do-it-yourself kit. That way, the
Ah,
consumer wires it up. That way, you're not reliable. You're not held liable for it.
okay. Well, that's interesting because so Xiao at PT Actuators telling me all of the. So I just purchased a bunch of kits to sell, and
Yeah.
they're going to be in route here soon. Those servo boxes are going to be all assembled, ready to go. So I'm wondering. Anyway, I'll have to look into that
It's
and
a good way
ask.
to look into it, like to learn how they run as well. Like, send them in
Well,
pieces. That way, if someone
yes,
calls you, listen, it's not turning on. What's going on? And then you can ask them, send me pictures of your setup, and then
yep,
yeah, you have this wire wrong. You
yep.
know.
And I pride myself in knowing how everything works. Matter of fact, going back to my sim experience days, after working there for about a year or two, they had a horrible reputation for support.
Oh yeah,
And
I'll be the first one to testify to that. We talked about this, and I think
yes,
the only reason I still dealt with them is because it was at the time when you had just gotten there.
well, and
You had literally just got there, and I was trying to do a deal on 5 stage 5 kits before you got there, and Bernie just 3 weeks to reply to an email.
well, and they had a bad reputation in the iRacing forums and just on the net in general. The biggest thing was they weren't actively answering emails
No.
and phone calls and stuff. And I had to beg Bernie, I'm like, dude, let me take over support. Let me handle support. I said a couple things a couple purposes it's gonna serve because I was hired to do sales and marketing. And I said, that's gonna we're gonna get a better word of mouth. There's the actor force. We're gonna get uh word of mouth is gonna be better. And then I'll become intimately familiar. I'm not gonna show you what I got. Well, then I'll become intimately familiar with the products, and I did. They sent me a stage series system. I had all their products, but I supported all of them and knew all of them like the back of my hand. So if anybody had a problem, I could troubleshoot it. So back to this kit. Last night I was a little pissed that I had to put it all together, but then I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna know this thing like the back of my hand. And so if somebody does have any issues,
You can
like you
answer them.
said, Tanti, yeah,
Best
send
way
me
to
a
do
picture.
anything.
Send me, yeah,
It's the
send me.
Yeah.
best way to do anything.
I
And the amount
agree.
of people I've helped build like the SFX kits, like because at one time I was doing 3 of them at the same time, and when everything showed up, and all I seen was a box of wires, 4 controller boxes, the actuators I built myself, I'm just like, oh man, I'm out of my depth here. But there is a guy who I'll find the link. I've saved it. It's probably in my sim racings here. I'll find it. I'll send you the link, and it literally he went step by step which wire picture, how it wires, how to put it to 110 volt if you need it, how to test them, what the error codes mean, you know. And
Yeah,
the first time,
it's only 8 years old, Darren. The information he has, so
no,
I'm
it's
sure it'll
not.
work fine. I'm
No,
sure it'll
it's
work fine
not.
for what you have right
No,
now.
it's literally within the last year. Because when did
Is
I
it
get my,
Thanos?
huh?
Is it
Well,
Thanos?
um, he has a Thanoser, but he's also has how it's wired up to each motor to the controllers, right? So the Thanos is just the controller board where you're going to use with sim tools or whatever, or their PT
Well, he's a
actuators.
guy.
So
Thanos is a guy that,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So the boards he makes, and I didn't run the Thanos because I
Oh,
was
okay.
I was like I supported um, the original SFX build kit and got my full access to the software. But
Okay.
on my other sim rigs that I built, like do-it-yourself rigs, I've been running sim tools. I love sim tools. I think the only thing that's easier than sim tools is probably the D-Box motion one.
Okay. So that's it. So one of the things that we have with SimMotion is we have our own motion software that Jens, my partner, has a guy that he's coder basically that he's worked with on both the sim department software, that stuff I was talking to you about, the sim
Yeah,
center stuff for Assetto Corsa, and this motion software that works with all the PT actuator stuff. And it probably works with the SFX 1000 stuff. And
yeah. It probably does. It's because it's all the same stuff.
yep, Exactly. The Sim Tools works with, and matter of fact, that works with the Sim Experience stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, Sim Tools will work with Sim Experience. You could use Sim Commander obviously too, but and I think you can use our software, the Sim Motion software, with it too.
I think the only one you can't crack is the D-Box one.
That makes sense. Proprietary. The most expensive one.
Yeah, you know what? They're not that bad. Like for a Gen 1
They have
kit.
come down. They have come down, haven't they?
A Gen 1 kit's what, $4,200?
It's not bad.
And you know
That's
what?
less than what the
For
that's less than
sim
what the
racing
PT
motion,
actuator.
for sim racing motion, a Gen 1 kit's more than enough.
You guys are insane.
Man, the one I have is I've been saying that it's overkill. I think for this type of setup, 100. That's 6 inch. I have 6 inches of stroke on each corner.
Yeah,
and you're gonna end up going out the front door.
Yeah,
your
no
neighbor's
shit.
gonna go, "What the hell is Darin doing right now?" And he's gonna be.
Thing's gonna launch me out of the
rocking
simulator.
out of that.
So that's what my SFX 100 kit was 6 inches of stroke.
Yeah.
So
3 up, 3 down.
And it was, you know what? It moved. It would move and it would rock and it would launch. And
didn't you fall over in it once?
No, that was my first 2DOF I built. The weld broke. The weld broke on. I should share that link. The weld
slammed
broke
you
on
into
my
a wall, right, or something like that.
We were racing Australian V8s. So I built an old worm gear 2DOF. So you had the 2 worm gears in the front, and then you basically sat on a pivot point. You basically right underneath your ass.
Yeah,
So,
like a seat mover, basically.
Basically, it was a full chassis.
Oh,
it was a full,
okay.
So
yep, I've seen that.
So I basically had the U joint underneath my butt, and we're driving V8s. I'm like, what? My motion feels really sloppy, and I couldn't figure it out while I'm riding. And you come down the front straight on Adelaide, and there's that chicane. Well, I just clipped the chicane, and the next thing you know, I'm in the wall. Like literally, my rig is in the wall. And I was live streaming at the time. So the whole thing was, I'm like, I'm dead. Hold on, I gotta stop. What happened? I'm like, check my stream. You guys will laugh your ass off. And sure enough,
we gotta make a GIF of that, and
you literally see my rig just go right into the wall. So the weld had failed where they'd welded the U joint to the plate.
Your fat ass.
My fat ass broke it.
That's what I mean. Let's be real here. Think of the thousands and thousands of people who purchased that kind of a system and didn't break.
Well, it was a DIY setup though, wasn't it?
He didn't weld it.
Yeah.
I didn't weld it. It was actually a good friend of mine, Sven, from the Netherlands, who came over on Holland. I'm like, Sven, he's a welder by trade. I'm like, I gotta weld this thing. I don't know what to do. He's like, you know anyone with a welder? I'm like, actually, I do. I'll go to his shop. We get there, and he's just like, this isn't a welder. The guy was literally out of gas to weld, and he's like, I'll try. And this whole time, this whole time, I blame the welding on him. I blame the welding job on Sven, and he just like, it was the equipment. I'm like, a bad welder always blames his tools.
For me, I have no interest in motion. I would try it, but I have no interest in it because
I think
I think it adds too much crap to, like, if you're trying to be accurate and trying to be, like just on target every time. I feel my only experience in a motion rig was on a Cruden rig, and that thing, like, I was not prepared for what that thing threw at me, because when you hit the brakes, that thing shifted so far forward that, I mean, I was like using the wheel to keep myself against the, pressed against the seat, and I just wasn't ready for that, and I couldn't turn a lap to save me because of how much motion that was. Now I know it's not that extreme, but to me it just seems like just too much stuff going on.
I think when
unless it translates really that well. Does it really translate that well?
I can't race a static rig.
See, you know what? So I ran my Sim Experience rig for years, and I love rear traction loss in a rig. So the whole rig pivots.
You get a ladder or a yaw effect out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So you start losing traction in the rear, and you feel it in the seat of the pants. And so I ran that way for years, and then when I transitioned to this track racer, I thought, man, I'm going to be suffering, and I didn't. I ran that Daytona 24. uh, Man, I hate to say this, but I think I'm a little quicker in a static rig than I am a motion rig, and I think part of the problem is, and so the way I tune motion is for like my theory or philosophy is less is more. I just want to feel the cues. I don't like Mike, you were just talking about you're having to hold on to the wheel to brace yourself. That's way too much.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to feel the cues. And I think what ends up happening to me with if I have too much motion, I tend to drive a little tamer. The rear traction loss never had thrown me off. It was if I had too much seat motion going or too much stuff. I had one of those G seats from Sim Experience. I think it would slow me down a little bit, just because I just didn't want to get beat up for long stints. I think that was part of it, but I'd have to do a one.
I
Maybe I
would.
will do a one to
The
one,
only
but
thing I can compare it to is my own wheel and having too much force feedback to where it induces a mistake because you're fighting such a strong peak.
right.
And I relate to your less is more because I run my AccuForce at like 35, 40, anywhere between 35 and 45%. Anything higher than that, I feel like it's inducing stuff on me. Like if I'm
Yeah,
going over a curb, I feel like it's pulling me off the track.
right.
So I'm more into the subtleties of feeling like an undulation on the track and knowing that little telltale, knowing brake on the back side of that, not on the front side of that. You know what I mean? Like you can get that detailed on some of the tracks that allow it, but uh so for me to have another motion in there that could, shake your arm a little bit may not make you as accurate. And
It can. I think it
plus,
could.
I don't want my wife to really, really hate me.
But I
That's
agree with
important.
I do agree with Tanty though that um man, when you got a properly set up motion system, it is awesome.
Yeah. Like
I
Cause
can imagine in VR, it's got to be.
it is. You are fully immersed.
Yeah.
Um you're not going to get much closer to driving a real car
no.
than having a properly set up motion system with great force feedback and butt kickers and all that shit going. Um
That's
then you
what I love
will.
about the D box. You don't need butt kickers. Each
I
each I
that's
love
what I
that
hear.
that each motor has its own transducer built into it, and my motion doesn't move a lot. Like I have it set so I feel the steadies in the road, I feel the curbs, and like if I hit the brakes, yeah, it dips a bit, but it's not like when you watch those videos of some of these motion platforms, you hit the brakes and the whole rig like drops like 45 degrees. It's not. I don't have it set like that. I don't like the really sloppy, choppy motion. I like it tight. So if I hit a bump, the rig moves. It feels like the suspension's moving, not
Yeah.
your whole house.
Well, that's how I would tune my when I was in my sim experience stuff. It was a seat mover, rear traction loss. Then I had the G seat. Then I added the G belts. I had a prototype of those G belts that they just came out with recently. Um, and I was running in the Lionheart IndyCar series, and the IndyCar, man, that car will beat the shit out of you. Um, so I got it to the point where I so part of with seat motion or seat mover stuff, I never liked the cornering effect. I don't like
No,
being thrown back and forth. I hated it, as a matter of fact. So I like feeling the bumps. I like the braking effect. Um, and so like for my seat motion, I'd have that braking effect and a little bit of bumps. And then for the G seat, the G seat's got those panels that press up against your body. I love that for cornering effect. So I really use that for my cornering. And then I'd have my rear traction loss. And that was pretty much it. And I'd run them all. G seat I'd run pretty cranked up. Um, and the rear traction loss because I want that thing snapping, instantly. But the seat motion, man, sometimes I'd even have it almost turned off because I just didn't want it throwing me around too much and causing me to slow down. Because like Mike, you were just saying that you got your force feedback turned up too high, and it's gonna, you may not attack a corner as aggressively when your shit's turned up too much. Versus somebody that's running in a Logitech G29 and can barely feel that shit, and they're just whipping the car all over the place like it's nothing. They got an advantage over
Yeah,
you,
they're clipping right through it, and
like it's nothing. So, and I think I've really realized that.
yeah, my wife got really upset at me the other day. She was like napping in the bed over here. Right now I'm in our bedroom. It really sucks, but there's reasons for it.
So she
You
keep an
know,
eye on you.
I had it was like mic time. Like I had to get on the rig and have a little me time, and I started turning some laps, and we were doing Group C cars at Road America, and I did a cloud tune, or no, I just did a recorded lap tune on the AccuForce, and um, that mod, those Group C cars, they have their own. You know how you can go in and customize the car before you go into the track, and it has like a 10-step force feedback scale that you can pick. So I just left it at default. Well, this thing is like an ass kicker, man. So I get out on the track and I start hitting some of those rumble strips, like exiting a turn, and my whole rig was like, and she just whipped up out of the bed. What the? Are you kidding me right now, Mike? I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know. I'm just driving around. But this thing, my SimLab rig, my GT1, my GT Evo, it's that thing's so solid that when that motor kicks, like I feel it all the way through the seat and everything. Like it resonates through the whole rig. I love it.
That's cool. I got butt kickers hooked up to this track racer.
I'm not
Um,
allowed to do anything else, guys. Okay.
it,
I cannot do anything else.
well, I'm up on the second. So it's called a daylight basement house. So my back half of my house goes out into my backyard. So right down below me, there's a room right down below me, and my buddy was over the other night running the Corvette at Daytona, and I happened to be downstairs, and I didn't realize how much it was vibrating. Man, I think I'm gonna shake like one of my light fixtures off of the ceiling downstairs because it was
Imagine if you lived
vibrating.
in an apartment building
I,
and you were
that's, I
upstairs.
thought the same exact thing because I'd have people say, "Hey, can I run this upstairs?" Probably not. But I've heard about
Yeah,
people getting complaints about that
read
shit.
your lease and really study it.
Hence why I'm in the garage.
Well, I'm the only one in this house, so I can do whatever the fuck I want
That's
here.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, question of the day, Darren. Question of the day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Where,
Okay.
my wheel hit there yet?
Oh, so yeah. So if people don't
so
know this, Mike got rid of his OSW, his old direct drive kit, and went through Darin and got himself a Sim Magic
Alpha.
Alpha.
Which I just You know what? Now let me do a little pan here.
There
So
it is.
I got the Alpha. Oh, there we got the light just switched for me. So I just hooked up the Alpha, just a couple days ago. A matter of fact, I hooked it up the other night,
When
and
we were bugging you.
I sent you guys a message. I hooked up new pedals and that wheel. It was like friggin' Christmas morning for me.
Oh man.
That
And
wheel's
that's the thing
awesome.
you have to do on your own, Darin. Like you can't expect your other half to share in the joy. You know
No,
what I
no, my
mean?
wife
Because
is awesome. My wife, when it comes to Christmas and birthdays, what do you
I
want?
took over.
What do you want?
What do you want?
Just a gift card to the computer store, or here's an online store I'd like a gift card from, or so get ready about mid-June, Darren. You'll probably get a message from my wife. Mike really wants a new wheel. Which one should I get him?
Ask me what I wanted for
Right on.
Christmas. Let's just say I got a pair of jeans. Okay.
Well, she messaged Cammy's wife messaged me. Thanks for the follow there, El Bucho. Cammy's wife messaged me. I don't know what to get Mike for Christmas, and I'm like, I know what to get Mike for Christmas. So I sent her a link for the pedals, for the clutch pedal for the Husqvarna Pros, because I sent him my Pros when I got the Ultimate set.
Nice. How do you like the Ultimates?
I love them.
I ran
Step
the
up from
Ultimates. I ran the Ultimates for a while.
Yeah. I've been running the pros for probably what, 4 years. And at the time I think, do I really need the ultimates? Do I really need the ultimates? I'm like, nah, no. Coming from a set of V3s at the time when the V3s first came out, um, and they're a great pedal. I never had an issue with them. And now the ultimates, that extra dampening, I really like. Really like the extra
Yeah,
dampening.
yeah, those are good pedals. I was running the Sprints. Been running the Sprints for like the last 6 months because I wanted to try them out, and that's a great set of pedals too. You know, more budget. I mean, not really budget because they're about $800. But that's a great set of pedals. And now I'm running. We are the exclusive distributor. You know what? Let me go grab one really quick. Hold on.
Yeah. 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 Darin's going to go get us a pedal set to look at.
He just wants to show us everything. He's showing us all his toys.
All those toys.
We should make him walk us
You
around
know
his
what?
house.
I shouldn't be so defensive of my jealousy. I should just let it be what it is.
What do you think Darin's going to bring us? Only wrong answers in the chat.
We should have like what's in Darin's box or
Yeah.
something like that. Like,
yeah,
hey,
so
Darin, would you come on? Would you come on for a weekly segment called "What's in Darin's Box"?
These are called Nuo Force or Nuo
Lost your
Simulate.
microphone.
We lost your mic there, buddy.
The fuck?
Oh,
You-
I think
It like
you're
went
back
to an
now.
external microphone or something.
Say something.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, there
there
you
we
go. All right.
There we go.
All right. So these are Nuo Simulation. So they look a lot like Ultimates.
They're Simvelts,
yeah.
Guy in Germany developed these, and my partner Jens. This is the brake. So I just installed these. I don't have the clutch. I just brought the brake in the throttle. And they're awesome. Lots of adjustability. So we're going to be the exclusive worldwide distributor of these. Anyway, so I just installed these and the Alpha the other night. So that's what I was saying. I was like
I'm
a kid.
so interested to hear about the Alpha.
So
you had the M10 and you ran the M10 for.
I love the M10. The M10's almost like it's pretty much identical to the Aki Force. So it's a 10 Newton meter stepper. You know, so you could feel a little bit of that notchiness, which I didn't really notice it when I was driving so much.
I can feel it if I'm just sitting here and I'm just slowly turning it.
And
but in sim, I never feel it in a sim. As a matter of fact, when I turn the sim on, I hardly feel the notchiness in the motor.
Right.
It almost goes away.
Check this out. Hold on. Thanks,
the wife.
Oh, what a great wife!
Here. You know what? The only sandwich I would get, a knuckle sandwich. That's all I would get from my wife.
But yeah, I love the M10. The M10's that's what I ran the 24 with. And I've been using that for about 6 months. But and you know what? I've always heard I've never had a servo based wheel.
I've had a servo base probably 6 years. 6 years. I have a large midge, but I got into the direct drive game when you literally had to build it yourself.
Right.
So
OSW.
So I got a true OSW but it was a kit. I don't know if you've ever heard of a company called Simplicity.
Yep.
Out of the UK. So Ollie did a do-it-yourself kit, and this is ready to go direct drive kits. So he basically sent you the motor, he sent you all the electronics, all the wires, and just like you have to wire your motion right now, I had to wire my direct drive kit.
Right.
So
I was thinking about that as I was wiring that up.
Yeah. So like with the SimuCube software, it doesn't run it because I'm running on Ioni Pro boards, which are great boards, but for some reason when SimuCube did their new software, they didn't make it backwards compatible to the old Ioni. You can upgrade it. All you gotta do is just buy a board for $160, and you can run SimuCube. But I'm still running the MMOS software, which is a great software.
Okay.
And I sold it to one of the guys in our group, and I've got like 60 presets for different cars, different sims, different tracks that over the years I've built.
Nice.
But It's never failed me. I've never had an issue with it. I had an issue with it a couple weeks ago, and I thought I blew a transistor. Um, I just I don't know what happened. Turned it off, took it all apart, put it all back together, and it's fine again.
Nice.
So, but yeah,
Um,
I've never had an issue with them.
so the Alpha, one of the first things I noticed is you don't feel any of that.
No.
You don't feel any notchiness, whether it's sitting static. And then I started realizing that I was feeling a little bit of notchiness even in the driving of the M10. Just a bit. It's not something like, oh shit, I can't drive like this. But
It feels like
going
dirt in a bearing. That's
a
the
little bit,
best way to explain it.
yeah. But you know what? Like Mike just said, though, you could you get it tuned right, you don't really feel that. I don't
Yeah.
feel that um, in the M10, and I didn't in the AccuForce. Um, but man, that Alpha's awesome. I love that wheel. It's smooth as silk, and now I've got an extra 5 Newton meters of torque to play with, so I am feeling a little more um,
What are they, 15 or 20?
15.
See, everyone goes,
Um,
oh, everyone will say, oh, the Fanatec CS2 or the Club Sport 2 does 15. It does in 10, isn't it? 8 or 9.
no,
Can't
I
remember
think
what
it's
it
like
does peak.
7 or 8.
But
The
that's peak.
CSW,
It won't sustain it.
the CSW or the DD.
No, the CSW, the
You
Club
would-
Sport wheel, the
Club Sport's
2.5.
like, yeah, Club Sport's like 7 supposedly.
7, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But
7 or
peak,
8
not
maybe.
sustained.
Well, and it's also a belt-driven wheel.
Belgium.
So
Yeah.
are you getting? So it's just, I was talking to a guy yesterday, one of my customers. I had talked to on the phone, and it's just like when you're talking about horsepower in a motor in a car, is that you got 800 horsepower at the crank or at the flywheel, or do you have 800 horsepower at the wheels?
Yeah.
You're losing horsepower through the drivetrain.
Yeah.
And is the CSW 8 at the shaft or 8 at the motor? Because you've got that belt drive to go through, and I guarantee you're losing torque through
Yeah.
that belt drive.
Yeah.
Whereas a direct drive, if it's 10 Newton meters or 15 Newton meters, you're getting that. You're getting
Yeah.
that at.
And it's more
Is it this? Is
15,
it?
even 10 Newton meters is more than enough for sim racing if you have it cranked on high.
Yep,
15
I
is
agree.
I think 15 is probably the sweet spot. Anything over 15 is just useless. Like
I I could
I've
see
gone on
that.
some big, large midge motors the guys have used for direct drives, and it's just like, what's the point?
Yep.
There's no
So
point in it at all.
if so like you set things too high in, like I do a lot of iRacing, as you guys know. So um like I just did a video, as a matter of fact, on how to tune the M10 and the Alpha and pretty much any wheel in iRacing. They have an auto, just like the AccuForce with Sim Commander, they have an auto tune feature. So you go out and run a couple laps, you click the auto button, and it will you set your Newton meters of torque strength in iRacing. So for the M10, you set it at 10. For the Alpha, you set it at 15. Go out, run a couple laps, hit auto, and then it adjusts the force feedback strength based on that particular car at that track to get you right below clipping. So so in this video, I started with the late model at North Wilkesboro, and the strength was set at about 14 in the strength bar.
In
And then I took
iRacing, yeah.
in iRacing, then I took the Indy car out, and then you can tune it. You can fine tune it with the Race Manager or Alpha Manager software, the SimMagic stuff. Then I took the Indy car out, and that clipping meter, as soon as I was going through corners, was just dark
Off the
red,
chart. Yeah.
off the chart. And so going through the corners, as those tires, you start getting a lot of lateral force. Those tires starting to load up. I could still feel spring tension, but all the forces were gone.
Yeah.
So I was losing out on all the subtleties in the corner.
Right.
Hit that auto button, it dropped it down to like 7.7 on the strength in the IndyCar, and then I started feeling everything again. And then if I wanted to, if I wanted some more, I wanted a little bit heavier feel in the wheel, I just go into the Race Manager software and I could adjust it from there. So, that's actually, you asked what I was working on. That's actually the video I'm working on right now, is how to tune how to auto tune your wheel in iRacing, and it'll apply to SimiCube,
Any,
Fanatic.
yeah.
Yeah. If a Thrustmaster or a Logitech at all, as long as you know the newton meters of torque for that wheel, then you can
Yeah,
use
when I
that.
used to dabble in iRacing, I had a CSL Elite, and I think I set it for, I think it said 6 newton meters or something like
Mhm.
that, and it seemed to always improve the. I'm like I said, like I'm more into the detail and subtleness, like just getting the fine detail of the
Right.
track versus the. I do love curbs and rumble strips though too.
Well,
I
that
love
that
doing
helps you. That makes sure as you're loading those tires, that you're feeling all that stuff. You're not missing out the fidelity, and that's where the torque really comes into play.
Yeah.
And I agree with Tanti. 15 is probably the sweet spot. 10 to 15, or I think is 20 is probably getting a little overkill. I don't know what you'd be missing because I'm feeling.
You
I
won't be,
think I'm.
yeah, because I run, even though I run my OSW, I think I have the force set at 100. The gain is probably at 15.
I think a good way to explain it is bandwidth. You're opening up the availability to take in more data,
Yes, exactly.
if you will.
Clipping.
You
And
know,
keep
Yeah,
in
and
mind,
clipping.
I'm still running a 10,000 PPR encoder. So like now you have like 2.3, like what's the encoder on the Alpha?
I have no idea.
Like
yeah,
I don't
nerd.
know.
You're a fucking nerd, Mike.
like
That's
you could
I
like
don't.
there's
I
a
don't go
couple
that in
months, a
depth.
couple years ago, you could get like a
I got a Yankee
2.4 million
Papa
PPR encoder.
195 2B in my
Like putting a CBIS encoder on an OSW, like on my OSW, would change it dramatically. But I've never felt that I needed it. And I think getting the Alpha, like I've tried the SimuCube ones, and because it's basically what I have now, and I've tried the SimuCube 2 Pro, um, and looking at the Alpha, the specs for the Alpha and the SimuCube 2 Pro, they're pretty much identical in
I
force
feel like
wise
we
and
just had a
options
full
wise.
I feel like we just had a full conversation all in acronyms.
But
People are
anyone who
like, "What
knows,
the hell are these guys talking about?"
They do
we're
for that
building
second
bombs.
window. They'd be like, I took the 405 to the 5 to the, you know.
Will the Fanatec quick release work on the Simagic?
No.
No.
No,
So
that
the
Fanatec quick release is garbage.
so it
Oh, it's a
it,
lot bigger.
it
Yeah.
well, it's called the ball lock, and that's what
Well,
that's the same as that's the same as the AccuForce.
well,
Matter
that's
of
a ball lock
fact,
too.
Oh, well, yeah, but it's a
it's
hundred
different.
and yeah.
It's a different type of ball lock. So
Well,
no, it won't
paint
work.
me green and call me Gumby. I gotta buy another adapter.
So yeah, you could switch out that quick release,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
Mike, yours
female.
doesn't make a really cool like gnarly click sound when it connects.
Yeah, but I got two of these that you can't get.
I don't want those things.
Yeah, whatever. You know you do.
I had this in that video. This is an AccuForce ball lock, and that
Yeah.
connects right up. That'll connect right up to the Sim Magic. It's the same NRG style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, same thing.
Hmm. So
And it
when's that
connects
wheel
right
gonna
up.
get here?
And then you can go outside and stick it onto your and then you can go and put it on your race car.
And not
I
That's
spend
have.
the
what Darren does.
I did.
$5,500 or
Yeah.
5,500 euro that Fanatec wants to charge you for their GT four wheel.
Darren's been doing that sim to car swap way before Fanatic did it.
No, actually, you know what? That's the first time I ever did it.
Oh.
Well, you know what? No, I hooked up that wheel. I did hook up that wheel to the AccuForce. I don't know if I ever drove it.
Oh, somebody showed a picture. I'm sorry to interrupt. Fanatic, I think, is somebody posted a picture of a mini direct drive wheel that they're going to come out with.
I thought I heard about that. Actually, this is my NRG for
Oh,
my
yeah.
for my
See, it's got a little horn
race
button
car.
there.
Yeah, that's a real horn, but I mean
Yeah.
that's actually hooked up to a horn in my older Camaro.
My question is, when you go to release that wheel, what do you pull on the round part?
Yeah. Well, you know, you just
So there's
so
no
there's like
groove
no. Yeah, you just kind of pull back.
on that
Pull back.
outer part. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you
Yep.
laughing about, Mike?
Just want my new wheel.
It's on its way. Somewhere in
I
the
showed
ocean.
you. I sent you a GIF.
The inside.
It's on its way, Mike. It's on its
The
way.
inside joke is
Hey,
every
give
morning
that
and
fucking
we
guy a
have.
break, okay? He's been out there for like 6 days now, just and then he's got to go into the frozen tundra of Canada, and he's got to mush the dog sled through the trees and the snow all the way out to your house with your direct drive.
The inside joke with all of because me, Darren, and Cammy are all on a Facebook group chat right now, and it's
wait,
basically, is my wheel here yet? And it's a new GIF every morning, and if Darren gets to jump on me in the morning, he'll be like, before you ask, it's not here yet.
It's not here yet. Yep. And then we even joked, it's like the kid going to Disneyland. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Are we there yet? Yeah.
Not there
That's
yet.
the way it is. I learned a lot during COVID, man, because I was one of those guys who ordered all this stuff right in the midst, and I had to wait months for all my gear to show up. And somehow, Darren, I timed it perfectly to where my AccuForce and my rig all showed up within like 4 days of each other, and they were ordered months apart. And yeah, so I learned a lot about being patient for new things. I almost forgot that they were coming. And then all of a sudden you get that little email from UPS, you got a shipment coming, and you're like, I'm taking the day off of work.
You know, I don't like when we started doing this business. I don't like the whole pre-order game that goes on. And when the alpha came out, I was almost forced to do the whole pre-order thing. And you know what? But the cool thing about it that I've recognized or realized is that, especially because of COVID, everybody has been super patient. They're not like Tanty. Where's my wheel? Where's my wheel? And I'm just kidding.
He's
No,
an
but
asshole though, so that's okay.
I am
know
a bit
it's
of
all
I am a
fun.
bit of an asshole, but he also knows it's all in good fun.
No, I don't look at it being that way at all. But
Listen, Darren, he's still waiting for a processor he ordered like 5 months ago.
but that so I have quite a few pre-ordered alphas, and I mean I've even sent people my tracking number. And matter of fact, if you want me to send it to you, I'll send you my tracking number.
I'm
From
surprised I
Sim
don't fucking have
Don't
it
do
yet.
it, Darren. Don't
I'm
do it,
gonna
Darren.
send it to you right now so I don't forget. No, so this is the tracking number from my order coming from China.
Yeah, well, don't say it online.
No, he's not gonna say the line.
No,
Did you
no,
get
no.
the
I'm
link
gonna.
of my motion failing? I put it in our chat there.
No, I'll check it out here in a second. Matter of fact, I got to get going here in a second. I want to watch.
Yeah, we gotta go. How long have we been going? Man, an hour and 45 minutes? Are we crazy?
Jesus Christ, it's the longest one we've ever done.
Are we nuts?
I'm surprised I haven't fallen asleep and had a nap yet.
I can't feel my feet.
That's the old
Oh,
age.
here it is.
That's yeah, diabetes or something. I don't know.
All right, Mike, I'm sending you that. Sending you that tracking number. Actually, I'm gonna send it to both of you guys because I got that dual chat going with you guys.
Perfect.
So that's the tracking number for. You'll see there's a label creation date of December 29th.
Who are they shipping it by?
It's Ocean. I do most. It's UPS.
Oh, is it?
Yep. most of my shipments door to door, if are from label creation till the time I get them. The last one was 32 days. It was right around 30.
It's one of those slave ships, Mike, where you see like 80 dudes back under there with oars going like this. And
so I should have it soon. I should have my order here soon.
I'm not worried. I trust you. I know where you live.
I know you do.
It would be cool if at one
you're
point.
Just lucky. You are lucky the borders are closed.
When COVID, yeah, I was gonna say when COVID's over, it'd be kind of cool because I've never been to Washington, and it'd be cool to have a little.
Well, see that, and that's what Darren. When Darren sent me a message, I'm like, yeah, we were friends on my old Facebook account that kind of got a ban, and literally 3 days before we're moving back to Canada, so I had to start a new one so I can keep in touch with friends over here that know we're coming over, and
because you were an asshole about something.
I shared a
Anyway,
meme
let's not
I
open
shared a
that. I
meme
don't.
that Facebook didn't like, and there
I
was
just
nothing wrong
moved.
with it. It was
I
funny.
took that can and I moved
So
it away. I don't want to
so,
hear about
but when we added each other friends again on my new account, I'm like, yeah, we chatted fucking years ago when I was living in Scotland, and you checked, and there was a chat in there like the next time I come back to North America, we should catch a Mariners game. So
Yep.
as soon as these borders are open,
it.
I'm going to a Mariners game, and Cammy, you're not invited.
Fine, I'll go to a Dodgers game.
You know what? Real quick before we go, Dodgers come up here every 6 years, so they
Oh
alternate.
wow, yeah.
So every 3 years they play each other, the Mariners and the Dodgers. So I think the next time is in Dodger Stadium. Well, now that everything's messed up because of COVID, but I went to the Dodgers game here. It was Dodger Stadium Northwest.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
fans in the
yeah,
stands were Dodger
yeah,
fans, and the Dodgers ended up whooping the
yeah.
Mariners. It was
It
awesome.
was, I had the same experience. I went to my wife, as most people, well, anybody who knows her, she's a huge Bay Area fan. So when the Giants came to play San Diego, we went to one of the games and she was decked out like, jersey, hat, car had the sticker on it. I said, God, Tina, I hope there's no pissed off fans that come over and scratch your car. We get into the stadium. She goes, no, wait till you see this, Mike. We get into the stadium. I might as well have been a Candlestick or whatever. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yep.
oh shit, there's more Giant fans here than there are San Diego fans.
I've done that too. I've gone to a San Diego game same way. Now go to Dodger Stadium when the Giants are playing, and you have that shit. Man, there's one dude that got like almost
Yeah,
killed.
yeah,
Giants
yeah,
fan.
yeah. They don't fuck
It,
around,
it's
man.
it's dangerous. I've been
Very
scared to
dangerous.
go to a Giants game as a
Look,
Dodger fan.
look, I've been to Dodger games, so many nosebleed section seats. My dad and I used to just like he would just call me and go, "Hey, you want to catch a game? Yeah, let's go." I'd meet him at the stadium. We'd buy the cheapest tickets that we can get. We'd be up at the top level, and that's like where all the fights happen, right? Because that's where
Yeah.
everybody goes to get drunk. And my dad's like, 60 years old at the time or whatever, and he's like, "I'm gonna go get a soda." Next thing I know, he's like scrapping with a bunch of dudes. I'm like, "What?" And I go run up there and I'm grabbing him. I'm like, "What are
So
you doing?"
you
Oh, they
guys
were fighting. And
you guys say cheap seats. Like, how much is a cheap seat for a baseball game?
what, like $17 or something like that, or
Yeah, it used to be
probably not
cheaper
even
than that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably not even that.
So
Yeah,
I'm a
the
hockey
nosebleeds,
I'm a hockey fan. You know what a
All
cheap
right,
seat ticket for my Edmonton Oilers is?
$100. Whoa.
it's wrong sport, buddy. You got a roof.
It is literally for two tickets, you're looking close to 350 $400.
Damn.
Gotta love that experience.
Football is a man, football's a you get nosebleeds at like a Seahawks game. You're looking at like 150, $200 a seat.
Yeah, but that stadium's like a vertical wall. It's like a
Yes.
bowl. You know what I mean? So they squeeze a lot. There's not. I don't know how many people can attend there. I don't know what the attendance is there.
Probably about 60, 70,000. I got to tell you, that is the most intense sporting event I've ever been to.
Wow.
You know, the
Huh?
whole 12s thing that
Yeah. Yeah.
holy shit, that is real, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single play when the Seahawks are on defense, the whole crowd is just screaming,
Yeah.
yelling
Yeah.
to try to disrupt the
Yeah.
offense, the opposing offense.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Does it give you a headache?
No.
You know what I always felt about Chavez Ravine? I always wish the stadium was turned so that when you were sitting in the seats, you had downtown LA as the backdrop.
Yeah, from the parking lot, you see that backdrop.
Right, right. But I have a feeling it has to do with the sun.
Maybe. Yeah.
Like how it, you know what I mean?
Across
But
from the stadium.
it would have been probably one of the most beautiful vistas that you could have in baseball, having the whole downtown below you and
You just nailed it. It's the sun. Because if it turned that like what 30, 40 degrees or whatever to face downtown LA, the sun would be coming right over.
Yeah, you'd just
center
have nothing
field.
but raisins in the entire stadium. Everybody would be like, you know, wherein, yeah, it would Coppertone would come back and start sponsoring again.
Well, the batters would be facing the sun.
Sun the whole time, yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
guys, I gotta
gentlemen,
go.
They should have relocated
2
downtown.
hours, almost 2 hours stream today.
Well, great job. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, those
Darren,
for
thank
tuning
you for
in.
coming on.
Darren, seriously, man, thank you for coming on. It's like, you know, it's cool.
My
cool to
pleasure.
have you
It
on
was
here.
fun. It was fun hanging with you guys. This was cool.
Yeah,
Talk
soon hopefully we'll put some track time together, and that would be good too. Like to see your skill set, son.
I'll be out there with you guys.
Okay, all right.
Show you
That's
guys
what I
what's
like
up.
to hear.
I'm gonna put you right into a fucking wall if my wheel doesn't show up. Let's just put it that way.
He's not joking too, and he'll do it completely by accident.
Accidentally on purpose.
Always an accident.
I didn't see him there.
Oh, my rig! Oh, my rig did this. My rig did that.
My motion failed. I'm sorry.
I'm into the wall.
You're lucky I
Look,
wasn't streaming, or you'd see it all.
The go-kart race, and just at the start of the race, all of a sudden I get punted. Oh no, it was the Group C's. I get punted off the track, and what do I hear in the background? All I hear is him laughing. Oh, I broke too late. Oh,
oops.
Cammy, was that you? Well, guys, thanks for watching. It was a
thanks,
fun
everybody.
hour and a half.
See you next time. Come on, man, turn it off.
I'm trying to find my shit here.